What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update, and quite a lot of transfer speculation to get through today from the last 24 hours of Tottenham Hotspur news. And we're going to start off talking about a player called Viktor Jukanovic. Football Direct, who are actually the publication, one of the ones that first broke the news for Lucas Bergvall to Tottenham, say that Tottenham are focusing on signing young talent in Sweden after signing Lucas Bergvall. The club are now showing a strong interest in Hammarby winger Viktor Jukanovic. Spurs have now received very good reports on the 20-year-old, and technical director Johan Lange has a long-standing interest in him. Hammarby want to sell him for at least 11.4 million, but will push towards 15 million. This year in the Swedish league, he's played 25 games, 11 goals, 6 assists for Hammarby. Apparently a very pacey winger.
Well, we definitely want a pacer winger. Obviously, I can't say I've seen too much of Hammarby. I think that's fair to say. I don't really spend too much watching the Swedish league. But 20 years of age, he's clearly having a bit of a breakout season for Hammarby at the moment. The fact that he's getting regular goal contributions at such a young age as a winger as well definitely shows his potential. The fact that he's someone that Lange has kept a close eye on even before he started to break out, and now he's breaking out, tells me that he might know a thing or two about this kind of player. So we definitely need an up and coming winger. I think that's definitely I know we've got a big budget for a big winger. I think we need two. We need a winger for a big amount of money, and also someone like him, or like obviously Noosa was one of the other ones we were looking at, someone who's up and coming, who has the potential to explode, and that's very, very positive. So I think that is definitely one of the requirements for the summer.
Yes, anyone watching the Swedish league, let us know in the comment section below what you think of Jukanovic. Next up, we're going to talk about Albert Gudmundsson from Genoa, as Calcio and Mercato say that Tottenham are ready to sign another Genoa player this summer. The club want Albert Gudmundsson and are prepared to bid over 30 million euros for the winger to beat competition from other Premier League sides. Him as well, had a really good season last year, scoring 11 goals and 2 assists in 36 appearances for Genoa in Serie B. This year in Serie A is having an even better season. Already got 9 goals, 2 assists in only 19 games this season, and he's actually making quite a few waves in the Serie A this season.
Yeah, 26 years of age as well. So, I mean, I do kind of get the feeling if we are going to sign a more senior kind of player to play out wide, that's the kind of age that kind of tells me he would be fulfilling that role. So I don't know. I mean, I know Genoa having a decent season, and he's clearly having a very good season himself. Does seem to be, in terms of the profile, someone quite suited to us. His take on metrics are pretty strong. Obviously getting goal contributions as well, having a very good season out in Italy. So is he, I mean, I'd much rather, if I was going to spend money on a more senior winger, go for someone like a Neto. But if Gudmundsson if the data works out and we feel like we've got a player who can we can find value in the market, I'm not against it, but it doesn't one that stands out to me as one who we should be going for as our senior winger target. But who am I to know?
Yeah, I mean, the data does stack up quite well. He's doing really well this year in a top league in Serie A. So I guess it's just down to the scouting system in Ange and if he wants him. But we'll have to wait and see to the summer if they do push the button on this one. Let's talk about Conor Gallagher once again. Obviously, great performance last night, scoring 2 goals in the Chelsea shirt to win 3-1 at Selhurst Park. Matt Law says that Tottenham are ready to make their move for Conor Gallagher at the end of the season if the midfielder has still not agreed a new contract with Chelsea. Can't really see this one happening.
I mean, I wouldn't rule it out in the summer. I've always said that.
Still not.
I think January was never going to happen. I think January was always going to be a tall order. Chelsea were never going to let him go. He was playing every game. But I think that is absolutely right. What the report is saying. If his contract situation is still not resolved come the summer, Chelsea might have to be in a position to sell, because we know that they've spent a lot of money. I know they've brought a lot of money in as well, but to satisfy FFP, they might have to sell some homegrown players. And if Conor Gallagher is refusing to sign a contract, he goes into his last year having not signed one, they might be forced to in a position where they have to take the money or risk him going on a free. And I think they'll probably prefer the former in that situation. So if that contract situation is not resolved come the summer, I don't think it's that far-fetched, to be honest.
Yeah, but the thing is that, like, obviously we know the rivalry between Spurs and Chelsea. We know in previous tenures under Roman Abramovich, they refused to deal with us in the past. I know it's different under Todd Bowley, but I just feel like if this came to pass, there will be other suitors as well for Conor Gallagher. It won't just be Spurs. And I feel like Chelsea would just up the price for it being Spurs than other clubs.
But we're in a stronger position, potentially, willing to spend the money. I mean, who's going to go for him who can match us financially? I don't know if any of the big clubs are going to. I don't know, maybe they will, but I'm not 100% sure if any of the bigger clubs, like a Man United or a City or an Arsenal or a Liverpool, are they going to go for him? And then who's left? And in terms of if they really want the best price, they might have to sell to us.
How much is he going to cost?
If in the summer with a year left on his deal, you're looking at still looking at a good 40 million, I would say.
Yeah, I think even more than that, to be honest, for Conor Gallagher, even like up to 50. I don't see us spending that much money on a midfielder.
But they might have to sell.
But again, I don't see us spending that much money on him, 40, 50 million.
It depends how much we want him.
Yeah.
So I think if we really want him and he hasn't signed that contract and Chelsea are prepared to sell and we're the only ones putting money on the table, I don't see it being that far-fetched a deal. I really don't. I thought this January it was never going to happen, but I think a lot of it comes to his contract situation, Chelsea's financial situation, and if we're the only club who's prepared to spend the money to sign him, and then if that situation all comes to pass, obviously there's a lot of moving parts, but if that all lines up, then I do think that's a deal that could potentially get done.
Be interesting to see if he'd even want to join Spurs with his links to Chelsea, a Chelsea fan from the Chelsea academy, such heavy links to Chelsea. He will know more than anyone the rivalry between the two clubs and what the fans' perception of it will be. Be interesting if he even wanted to move to Tottenham.
Well, then he has to sign a deal.
Yeah.
So I think if he signs a deal, the dead's water.
He'll end up signing the deal, though.
If he signs, then obviously it's never going to happen. But if he doesn't sign, there's clearly a problem.
Let's talk about Jared Branthwaite of Everton now. Mike Keegan of the Daily Mail says that whilst other clubs are also inquired, Manchester United and Tottenham are the two clubs currently making the most concerted effort to sign Jared Branthwaite in the summer transfer window. I mean, again, like this guy is going to cost so much money coming out of Everton. I know they're going through financial problems as well. Apparently, they could be under their second points deduction of the season as well. But do you see us spending that much money on a player in defence?
Well, they've obviously been linked with a number of centre-backs, haven't we, in the past few weeks. A lot of them probably would be cheaper than Branthwaite. But I guess if Everton are facing another points deduction, maybe even if they get relegated, I mean, it's not beyond the realms of possibility it happens now because they're really in a dogfight. They're not in good form and they could face another points deduction. So if they end up going down, then maybe the price drops significantly. And then all of a sudden he does become a viable option. Obviously, I think if they stay up, if they don't get another points deduction and maybe they've showed that maybe they're more in accordance with FFP and they're not desperate to sell, obviously that price shoots up. He's at the moment, the way he's playing, he's probably given his age and how well he's playing in the Premier League, you're looking at a 40-50 million pound defender right there because of the attributes, and he's English as well. You got the English tax you've got on top of that. But again, with circumstance, if they go down, if they're in breach of FFP, that price could drop. And then Branthwaite might look at Spurs and we're back at the Champions League and think it's a really good place to grow. I
would love this guy through the door. I think he's a top quality player, to be honest. He's young. He's probably going to have that English tax with him as well. But I think he's a top talent, Jared Branthwaite. I've been so impressed with him this season. He's been a shining light in that Everton side for sure. And if we can get this deal over the line, what defensive options you've got there. You're talking about centre-backs of Branthwaite, Van der Ven for the left-hand side, and Romero and Dragoshin for the right-hand side. I mean, that is some defensive solidity, isn't it?
100%. Doesn't get much better than that. And also you've got youth and you've got players who are ready now with Romero and Van der Ven, who's clearly been above expectation in terms of how ready he is for the Premier League. So that would really set us up for a while, I would say.
The next 10 years at least.
Yeah, you would say so.
Let's talk about Heung-min Son now, as Paul O'Keefe says that Tottenham have had positive talks a few times already with Heung-min Son regarding a new contract. Son's contract doesn't expire until the summer of 2025, and the club also hold an option to extend for an extra year. But look, I think it's only right to give the guy a new contract, make him a top earner at the club where he should be, captain, talisman at the moment. The way he's performed this season as well, on and off the pitch, has been truly remarkable. So I think it's only right that he gets the big contract, and probably you'd say his last big contract of his career.
Probably, given the fact that he's 31 now, so he's obviously not going to last forever as much as we'd love him to, and as much as I do think he's got a good few years left in him on the pitch. You can even play a bit more centrally as he has done, and maybe that would extend his career by a few more years as well. I think the way he's taken on the captaincy role has been nothing short of exemplary. I've absolutely love him as the new leader and figurehead of the club. Obviously, he's loved by absolutely everyone. He's an amazing leader to have around. And even though in a few years down the line, if he is getting on a bit and he can't play every game like he can now, he's still going to be a really good person to have around the dressing room. You look about the great teams of yesteryear who have had amazing players around the dressing room who even are getting old but have still been able to contribute when they have been on the pitch and been great leaders. You know, you just think about Man United and they had Ryan Giggs aging and he was still a player who could contribute on his few minutes when he did come on, and he was a great leader. You had players like at Man City like David Silva and company who were getting old but were still really important around the dressing room. You had like I remember with Chelsea when Drogba was getting old, he wasn't their first choice anymore, but he was a great leader to have around. So maybe Son can play that role further down the line. So I wouldn't even be worried about giving him a few more years on his contract, because I think he's just a great person to have in the dressing room, and he's still a great player. We know how good he is. So I think I agree. He should be well and head and shoulders the leader in terms of salary, and I think he deserves a new deal.
Yeah, and with the attributes that he does have, I know, you know, pace is very much in there, but you're looking at players that progress and have longevity in their career and their positions change, right? And, you know, Heung-min Son and the finishing ability that he does have, that's not going to go away in terms of in the next 5 or 6 years. So you can move him more centrally, as he's doing anyway, and, you know, have that fox in the box, that poacher, that Heung-min Son. I mean, he'll be brilliant at that later on in his career.
Yeah, and he's developing his creative side. We've seen that this season. He's getting more assists. He's upping his passing game, his all-round game. I've definitely noted that during the season where maybe in years gone by, he's been a bit wasteful in possession. He's given the ball away, looking to take people on a bit too much. But recently, he's been a much more of a team player, bringing other players into play. And if he can keep developing that side of the game, it's only going to help him elongate his career.
Yeah. And last but not least, we've got some quotes from Alejo Veliz, who's obviously out on loan at Sevilla, not fully back from his injury yet. He's yet to make his debut, but there are a few quotes. One on his how he's settling in at Sevilla, and he says, "I'm feeling very comfortable and very happy with this step. With Eric Lamela, I've already established a very nice bond. He invited me to his house, and we had a great chat." And then he's talking about what Ange told him upon his loan to Sevilla, and he says, "He told me to take advantage of this opportunity at a huge club and to do my best to try and gain minutes, and then time will tell." We all knew Eric Lamela was going to welcome him with open arms, obviously with the Spurs connection, with the Argentinian connection as well. And I'm going to be watching with a keen eye.
Yeah, I'm delighted Lamela's taken him under his wing, because it might be difficult in a new environment to get settled. So to have someone who's not just a former Tottenham player, but also Argentinian as well, will really help him settle in, and hopefully he can have a really good loan spell in the second half of the season. I'm really excited to see what he can do in a top league like Spain, given the opportunity, because there's a lot of excitement around him. He's a young striker. If he can really develop into a player who can contribute for Spurs, it can maybe help us save some money for next season in terms of maybe not a starting striker, but, you know, a backup striker to Son or Richarlison. If he can fill that role, that'll be absolutely fantastic. So I think it's really great, and I'm 100% going to be watching some Sevilla games once he gets back fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And rumours are that he is very close to full fitness, so we should be seeing him, if not this weekend, the weekend after for sure. But that is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.